Let me tell you something, your belief system is not just some vague idea sitting in the back of your mind. It is the blueprint of your life. It's the silent architect building your future while you're busy just trying to get through the day. Most people think success starts with talent or luck. No. Success starts with what you believe about yourself when no one's watching, when the lights are off, when you're in the struggle. When the odds are stacked against you and you feel like you've got nothing left, that's when belief either becomes your fuel or your fire extinguisher. You've got to understand, you don't live life according to what's true, you live life according to what you believe is true. There's a difference. There are people out there more gifted than you, more connected than you, more resourced than you, but they don't believe they can win, so they never even show up to the fight. And then there's you. You might not have all the advantages, you might not have come from the right place. But if you believe, I mean really believe, that what's inside of you is greater than what's outside of you, then you're already halfway there. Because belief sets the standard. If you believe you're average, you're going to behave like you're average. You'll speak average, think average, hang around average. But when you believe you're born for more, when you believe you've got something inside of you that the world needs, that belief starts to shape every move you make. You walk different, you talk different. You start demanding more from yourself, not because someone told you to, not because you read it in a book, but because your spirit knows, I was not created to live in survival mode. I was created to thrive. Listen, the reason some people never rise is because they've let other people write their blueprint. Their parents said they'd never be anything. Their teacher said they weren't smart enough. Society told them, stay in your lane. And they believed it. That's the tragedy. They took those words and laid them down like foundation bricks. But I came to tell you, tear that junk up. That's not your blueprint. That's not your truth. Your belief is your responsibility. And the moment you realize that, the game changes. Because now you stop waiting on people to believe in you and start believing in yourself. You see, I remember when I was at rock bottom, not just financially, not just physically, but mentally. That's where the real battle is. And I had to ask myself, what do I really believe about me? Because if you don't believe you're worth the fight, you're never going to get back up. If you don't believe your future is bigger than your failure, you'll stay in the pit. And I had to decide, not feel decide, that I wasn't going to let my past predict my potential, that I wasn't going to let where I came from determine where I was going. Some of you need to hear this. Your belief is a choice. It's not a feeling. Stop waiting to feel confident. Stop waiting to feel ready. Make the choice to believe. Every great leader, every champion, every history maker made that choice in private, before anyone clapped for them, before the results showed up. They believed when it didn't make sense, when it was irrational, when it was just them and their conviction. And hear me, belief doesn't mean it gets easy. Belief doesn't erase the grind, it empowers it. When you believe, you don't quit. When it gets hard, you press harder. You don't give up at rejection, you rise from it. You don't fold at failure, you learn from it. That's the difference. The person with weak belief runs from resistance. But the one with strong belief welcomes it, because they know resistance builds strength. They know the fire is what purifies the gold. Belief is what makes the impossible possible. It's what gives you the audacity to stand in a storm and still speak life over yourself. It's what gives you the guts to walk into a room where no one knows your name and act like you belong there, not out of arrogance, but because your belief told you. You've prepared for this. You've bled for this. You've sacrificed for this. And if no one ever claps for you, if no one ever validates you, your belief will be enough to carry you through. That's what separates the committed from the curious. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Not talent, not money, not even education. Belief. That's it. That's the root of every breakthrough. And until you get your belief system in alignment with your vision, you're going to keep sabotaging yourself. You'll build something with your hands and destroy it with your mind. You'll speak success and live in fear. You'll pray for opportunity and run when it shows up because deep down, you never believed you deserved it. You've got to rewire that thing. You've got to declare, I'm not the same person I was. I'm not who they said I was. I'm not who I used to be. I'm who I believe I am. I'm capable. I'm chosen. I'm disciplined. I'm dangerous. And I'm not waiting on the world to agree I believe it. Because at the end of the day, your belief is either your prison or your passport. Choose wisely. Let me make this clear: belief is not just some soft, feel, good idea we talk about to sound deep. Belief is the force that turns vision into reality. You can dream all day, talk about your goals all night, write them on the wall, post them online, but if you don't believe deep down that it's possible, if you don't believe that you were made for it, then it'll always stay a dream. Belief is the bridge between where you are and where you're trying to go. See, I'm not talking about surface level belief. I'm not talking about the kind of belief you post about but don't act on. I'm talking about belief that produces movement. Belief that forces you to get up at 4 a.m. Belief that makes you walk away from distractions. Belief that tells you, I don't care how long it takes, I'm staying in the game. Because when you really believe something, your actions line up with your mouth. You stop saying it just to say it. You live like it's already yours. There are too many people with vision but no belief, and that's why their vision never breathes. You ever seen that? Somebody has all the talent, all the ideas, all the connections, but they're stuck. Because they don't believe they're worthy of the vision they've been given. They see the mountaintop, but they don't believe they've got the legs to climb it. Let me tell you, the mountain is not the problem. The lack of belief is. You can't conquer what you don't believe you were created to overcome. That's why belief is dangerous in the right hands. When someone really believes, I mean deep in their bones, that they can change their life, shift their family's future, break generational cycles, walk in purpose, it doesn't matter what you throw at them. You can't stop them. You can delay them, distract them, even knock them down for a season, but you cannot defeat someone who believes they're called to rise. I remember when nobody saw it in me, nobody gave me a shot. I wasn't the one people were betting on, but I believed. I believed before the stage. I believed before the mic. I believed before there were people in the room. And because I believed, I moved like it. I studied like it. I trained like it. I sacrificed like it. Because you can't expect to live the life you want if you're not willing to act like you deserve it. And don't get it twisted, believing doesn't mean you always feel strong. Believing doesn't mean the fear goes away. It means you act in spite of it. You move while the doubt's still whispering. You keep going even when the results don't show up yet. Some of y'all are waiting for evidence before you believe. That's not belief, that's confirmation. And confirmation comes after the work, not before it. You've got to move first. You've got to trust the process first. You've got to walk like it's already yours, even when it still looks like loss. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers hope something will happen. Doers believe something will happen, and then they work like it's guaranteed. Doers understand that vision without belief is just imagination. But when you add belief to the vision, it becomes fuel, it becomes fire, it becomes real. I need you to understand something: your belief gives your vision permission to manifest. Until you believe, the vision is locked. Until you believe, the resources don't flow. Until you believe, the doors don't open. Not because the opportunity isn't there, but because you're not ready to receive it. Belief is what positions you. Belief is what prepares you. Belief is what pulls the vision out of your spirit and into the world. Some of y'all are standing in front of closed doors, not because they're locked, but because you don't believe you belong on the other side. So you never even knock. You settle. You shrink. You let the voice of your past talk you out of your future. But let me ask you, if the vision came to you, why are you doubting whether it's for you? It didn't come to your neighbor. It didn't come to your friend. It came to you. That means it was meant for you. But you've got to believe long enough to see it unfold. You want to know how powerful belief is? Look around you. Everything that was ever built, every building, every business, every movement, it all started as a vision someone believed in. They believed when nobody else did. They believed through the rejection, through the bankruptcy, through the loss, through the setbacks. Because belief will carry you when motivation fades. Belief will sustain you when the applause is gone. Belief is not hype, belief is commitment. And I get it, some of you are struggling because you've believed before and it didn't work out. You tried before and it fell apart, and now you're scared to believe again. But hear me, just because it didn't happen then doesn't mean it won't happen now. Sometimes belief isn't about instant results, it's about building internal strength. Sometimes the delay is the development. Sometimes the fight is forming the very character you need to sustain what you're asking for. So don't stop believing just because the road got rough. Don't stop believing because people walked away. Don't stop believing because the timeline didn't match your expectations. You don't grow when things are easy, you grow when belief is tested. When it costs you something. When you keep showing up with no evidence, no applause, no reward, just conviction. That's the kind of belief that changes everything. That's the kind of belief that makes visions come alive. That's the kind of belief that shifts the atmosphere, breaks barriers, and makes room where there was no room before. So you can keep playing small if you want. You can keep talking about it but not walking in it. Or you can make a decision today that you're going to believe like your life depends on it, because it does. Let me break something down for you. What you internalize, you manifest. That's not hype. That's not just a cute saying for a t-shirt. That's reality. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. What you carry inside, what you constantly speak, what you believe in your gut, that's what starts to shape your external world. You've got to stop blaming circumstances and start checking your internal conversation. Because your life is always echoing what your mind and spirit are rehearsing. You ever wonder why some people keep going in circles? They change their job, change their city, change the people around them, but they keep ending up in the same place. You know why? Because the problem wasn't external. The problem was internal. You can't run from a mindset that lives in your own head. You can change your location, but if you don't change your thinking, your outcomes won't change either. You've got to fix what's happening inside before anything shifts on the outside. See, you've been telling yourself, I'll believe in myself when I finally see success. Nah, that's backward. You don't get to success and then believe you believe, and then success starts to chase you. It starts with how you see you. If every day you're telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't deserve this, then don't be surprised when you keep falling short. You're not cursed, you're just programming yourself for failure. You keep talking about confidence, but confidence doesn't just come from achievement. Confidence comes from consistency in your self-talk. Confidence is built when your words stop tearing you down and start building you up. You can't speak defeat all day and expect victory at night. You can't fill your mind with fear and expect to walk in boldness. Your inner world has to be aligned with your goals. If you want to live a life of power, purpose, and peace, then you've got to start planting those seeds inside first. Some of you are frustrated because you keep grinding, you keep hustling, but nothing's breaking open. I'm telling you, it's not your work ethic. It's not your effort. It's your internal environment. If you're grinding on the outside but doubting on the inside, that contradiction is canceling your results. That's why you can't just have vision, you've got to have inner alignment. You've got to believe that you are who you say you are. You've got to see it before anybody else does. Speak it before it makes sense. Live it before it shows up. That's how this works. You think champions wait until the title to believe they're great. No, they walk, talk, and train like champions before anybody gives them the crown. And that's the level you need to get to, where your mindset is already living in the reality you're building toward. You've got to stop waiting for the world to give you permission. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to dream big, to walk boldly, to talk differently. You've got to stop letting old words control your new future. I don't care what your teacher said about you. I don't care if your parents didn't believe in you. I don't care if people left you, doubted you, criticized you. Their words don't define you. What you internalize defines you. Their labels don't matter unless you start wearing them. And some of y'all been walking around with labels that expired years ago. Time to tear those off and speak something new over your life. You better start telling yourself, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, I'm chosen, I'm called, I've got purpose, I've got power, I'm a finisher. Because when you internalize that kind of identity, everything else starts to fall in line. When that becomes your foundation, you stop entertaining distractions. You stop second guessing yourself. You stop playing small to make other people comfortable. And you start moving like the version of you that already exists in your potential. That's why I keep saying you rise to the level of your belief, not your desire. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants greatness. But not everybody expects it. That's the difference. That's the line between wanting it and walking in it. Wanting is passive. Expectation is powerful. When you expect it, you prepare for it. When you expect it, you show up different. You treat your time differently. You talk to yourself differently. Look, this is not about pretending. This is not about faking it. This is about choosing to align your words, your habits, and your identity with where you're going. It's about standing up every morning and saying, I know what it looks like, but I know who I am. I know how I feel, but I know what I'm called to do. I may not be there yet, but I'm not going back. I may not have it all figured out, but I believe I'm equipped for this. That's the kind of fire you need. That's the kind of belief that overrules your background. That's the kind of identity that breaks off insecurity. And no, it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to train your mind daily. You've got to speak life even when everything in your situation screams defeat. You've got to be intentional, consistent, and ruthless about what you allow inside your heart and head. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. Every day you speak with faith. Every time you move in confidence. Every moment you align your identity with your purpose, you're becoming. And what you internalize, you will manifest. Not because of magic, because of mindset, not because of hype, because of habit. And when your habits match your beliefs, your reality starts to change. So here's the bottom line. You want to change your life. Change what you speak, change what you think, and watch what you become. Listen to me, you don't get what you wish for in this life. You get what you're willing to fight for, what you're willing to sacrifice for, and more importantly, what you're willing to become for. See, belief isn't just a mindset, it's a transformation. You don't just believe something and then sit back waiting for life to drop it in your lap. No, when you believe something deeply enough, it begins to demand a version of you that doesn't exist yet. And in that gap between who you are right now and who you're called to be, that's where the real work begins. Everybody wants the result, but not everybody wants to change. Not everybody wants to become, because becoming is hard. Becoming means letting go of the old version of you. It means shedding the habits, the excuses, the comfort, the fear. It means facing the parts of yourself you've been running from. You want to walk into a new season, then stop dragging the old version of yourself into it. Your new life will cost you your old mindset. And the price of greatness is becoming someone who can carry greatness. You've got to understand belief without transformation is empty. It's just noise. You can say you believe in your dream, in your purpose, in your potential, but if you keep showing up like the same person every day, you're lying to yourself. Because real belief births change. Real belief demands that you elevate. Real belief makes you uncomfortable with staying the same. It starts to push you, challenge you, convict you. Because once you believe in who you can be, you can't be, staying who you used to be. And I get it. Growth is scary. Becoming is lonely sometimes. You'll lose people. You'll outgrow spaces. You'll face rejection. But let me tell you what's scarier: staying stuck in a life that doesn't match your calling. Settling for less than what you were created for. Lying in bed at night, knowing you played it safe instead of playing it real. That pain, that regret, that's worse than the pain of growth. At least when you grow, the pain produces fruit. When you stay stuck, the pain produces bitterness. So ask yourself, are you truly ready to become who your dream requires you to be? Not just talk about it, not just fantasize. I'm talking about becoming the type of person who is consistent, who is disciplined, who wakes up even when they don't feel like it, who makes decisions based on vision, not emotion. Becoming the type of person who doesn't just post about the grind, but lives it. Who doesn't shrink around other people's opinions, but stands tall because their identity isn't for sale. You keep waiting for the world to see you differently, but let me ask you, have you started seeing yourself differently? Have you accepted the level of excellence required to live at the top of your game? Because belief demands identity shift. It demands that you let go of the identity that was shaped by trauma, by scarcity, by limitation, and step into the one shaped by purpose, vision, and destiny. You can't keep believing big and living small. You can't keep speaking faith and walking in fear. You can't keep dreaming of a future you're not preparing for. You've got to become the person who deserves the future you want. That means working when it's boring. That means being faithful when nobody's clapping. That means saying no to distractions, deleting comfort, and showing up even when you feel like quitting. Because greatness is not found in moments, it's built in process. In the becoming, and the process is messy, y'all. It's not Instagrammable, it's not sexy. It's filled with doubts, setbacks, silence, tears. But don't let that fool you. That's where character is formed. That's where power is built. That's where belief becomes real. Not in the hype, but in the hidden. And you've got to love yourself enough to not stay where you are. Love yourself enough to challenge your laziness. To confront your inconsistency. To look in the mirror and say, this version of me was necessary for survival, but it's not enough for my assignment. You want elevation, you've got to grow. You want impact, you've got to evolve. You want legacy, then become the version of you that doesn't just talk legacy, but lives legacy. I know it hurts. I know it's uncomfortable. But every time you choose growth over comfort, you're becoming. Every time you keep going when it would be easier to quit, you're becoming. Every time you speak life when life feels like death, you're becoming. And one day you'll wake up. And you won't just believe you can do it, you'll realize you already are the kind of person who does it. That's what this whole thing is about. You don't just become what you believe in your mind, you become it in your life, in your habits, in your words, in your relationships, in your attitude, in your consistency. Belief is not a wish, it's a commitment, and if you stay in the process, if you surrender to the becoming, then you won't have to chase what's meant for you, you'll walk into it, because you will have become the person it was looking for all along. So stop talking about who you want to be and start becoming.